All right. Looks like we are live.
We are. Yes.
I am with, and forgive me if I don't get your name right, last name right, Laura Piazzari?
Laura
Yeah,
Piazzai. Piazzai.
Piazzai. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Very well. Yes. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. And hello, Ron. Thanks for having me here now.
Yes. And oh, you're welcome. I'm very glad you had the chance to, we had to reschedule from last week. And I'm glad that I got a chance to get you here again.
I see that you are feeling great now today. Looks so, at least. I'm very happy to see you well.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better in that sense, and you are involved in this new project called Imaginaerium. And before I get to that, I just wanted to ask a question of what's the inspiration for you to becoming a singer?
I suppose that it's something that you have inside of you. Like, for example, well, since I was a kid, I started to sing when I was like 12 years old. Yes, 12 years old. And the passion grew more and more and more. And as a kid, I remember my teachers in Sweden, so we are back in Sweden, they just told me, oh, you have an amazing voice already as a kid, so you have to grow this voice. And I think that it was all so natural. I mean, I just felt that I couldn't stay without singing, not a single moment. But as I used to say, it's not all about singing. When you are a singer, everybody says, oh, I can sing, I'm a singer, I'm this, I'm that. No, it's like saying, okay, I can write, but I'm not a writer. So it's a hard work. It's a hard work to become a good singer. It's a hard work to do the step from, let's say, singing under the shower
Right.
going on stage and then grow, always be different. This is what I always do. I always search for new ways to be different for who is listening to me, So every project and if you say, now I have the Rise of Medici, in the next chapter, I will be and sound completely different. Right. Yeah, this is passion.
And singers that you loved when you were growing up, that you say, I like how they sound. You have
Whitney Houston, for always. I grew up like, I call her my teacher because everything I learned, I learned it from Whitney. So that will always be my teacher. Yes, Whitney Houston. And actually, I have a strong passion for Barbra Streisand also. She's amazing Barbara.
And okay, I guess the big question is, how did you meet Clive Nolan?
Clive, well, a friend of mine told me, well, Laura, why don't you try to write to Clive Nolan? Sometimes he needs new voices. He is always involved in new projects, new things. And I said, write to Clive Nolan. He will not even consider me. I think, no, why should I? And I'm not used to write to artists or to composers to present my voice. So, but one day I said, okay, come on, let's do it. Why not? I've never done it. Let's do it. If he answers, he answers. If not, well, it will not. Nothing will change. And I did. And after 3 days, he answered. In that period, Clive was struggling with his eyes. He had a problem with his eyes. So he was pretty much, yes, at a computer, very much at home, not able to work so much on composing. And I guess that was in the unlucky thing, there was a luck because he got back to me and he could listen to a demo that I sent to him, and it was Great Gig in the Sky of Pink Floyd, and all the parts were sang by me. It was the first time I performed it, and I passed it over to him, and he said, "Wow, you have a terrific voice. So if you by any chance come to London, just give me a call." I said, "When do you want me to come to, by any chance, come to London?" And so that was the first meeting. We started immediately to, he asked me to be part of his show, the presentation show of the King's Ransom musical. And I sang with Paul Manzi, the singer of Arena, well, the one before Damien. And there was a great duet you can find on YouTube. And so it was, wow, it was amazing, really. And well, there, I guess people could really listen to my voice in this. You know, it's quite a big voice, and I could see that the performers all appreciated it and got a lot of compliments. And this was just the beginning. Then we got into the album, which is this one, From the Outside In.
Okay.
From the Outside In. And that was the first step. Apropos From the Outside In, if you allow me, Ron, I would like to just say how sorry and how really I'm devastated by the news of 5 days ago when Tracy Hitchings passed away, you know.
Yes, yeah, I heard that.
You know, Tracy and I, we had just one chat, and it was such an amazing chat with her. She was so, oh, I got goosebumps, you know. She was so sweet to me. She appreciated my voice so much. I told her how much I appreciated her voice. It was just like an exchange of nice words with her, and a lot of songs from her first album and the first production of Clive Nolan are in this, sang by me. In this, so we have From Ignorance to Ecstasy, from the Outside In, and so performed by me. And she was very happy about it, and she really loved it. Horizons in Your Eyes, now performed by me. She was so sweet, so cute, and she really said, "I'm really destroyed by this." Is really she was a great performer.
I had remembered, and of course I've misplaced a lot of CDs, but I remember her solo album, and The Strangers from a Train.
On a Train, yes.
On a Train. Those two out. Those I had those years ago, but I was looking through my collection and I don't know where they went. But I heard that they were re-released in the past 10 years. So you know that at least they're available that way. But yeah, she had a very angelic voice.
Yeah, she was. She had a particular voice. Like maybe this is what I feel her like very near to me because of our we're both rock singers, very different in voices. My very big. She has, like you say, more a thinner voice, but. My dream was to do, and Clive knows it was to have this duet. Well, we did never have the time to do it, but this was what we were talking about, and it's something that will always remain inside, you know. You mentioned Strangers on a Train. Here we have another song that was performed by her, and that that I performed here on From the Outside In, my album with Clive Nolan. And it's a duet with Andy Sears that we find also of Medici. I love to sing with him. Really, I love it. Great voice too.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with him from 12th Night.
Yeah, 12th Night. And here we have this Sensing Your Presence. Sensing Your Presence is a great duet with him, me, and we took it up one tone up from the original Tracy, and Clive made this incredibly intriguing version. It's acoustic, but so like you can't stop listening to it. You can't. It's
Right.
amazing. This is really an amazing album with Clive, and that's why I wanted to say that I will always have Trace in my heart for this. I will always feel like her belonging to me, and to, even if I just have one chat with her, that was all about that, and we so much appreciated each other and each other's voices. Yeah.
It's always nice when you can get that from an artist, where
Yeah.
they're in, from a fellow artist, where you both have mutual appreciation for each other's works, and yeah, that was pretty devastating, because my friend emailed me and told me about that. I'm like going, wait a second. Like, you have that disbelief, it's like, this can't happen, but it's very sad news, and Prague and the music world in general, are going to have a little empty spot.
Yeah, it's that. It's really, it's unfortunately, this is the only thing we can't control. So we.
Time is can be very cruel. And speaking of Andy Sears, have you ever met him in person or just?
Of course, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Friends, of course, yes. Okay. Every time I fly to the UK, we have the meetings, and we spend some time together at Clive's. And yes, of course, he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy. We have one little thing in common. We talk a lot. We speak a lot, really. It's yes. So he's another, a great guy, really. Great singer, great performer, great actor. I so much appreciate him, and I so much respect his way to be artist, full artist. He's really incredible. He's incredible.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy his voice, and then both the 12th Night and on the album, it's he has a very distinctive voice.
Yes.
Where because I've noticed in the world of Prague, a lot of the male vocalists are trying to sound too much like Peter Gabriel or Phil Collins or John Anderson. They're not trying to sound like themselves. And it could be an insecurity, or just something that they figure, well, if I sound like myself, maybe I won't sell any records. But the thing is, I'd much rather have a unique voice to listen to than something that sounds like everybody else. So it's really nice when male vocalists like Andy Sears, you hear him and it's like he doesn't. I mean, when he replaced Jeff Mann, he didn't sound like Jeff.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there was probably a lot of fans that were like, why? It's like, well, the simple answer is because he's not Jeff. The reason why another singer doesn't sound like them is because they're not them, and they need to, have their own identity. Because
you say a very, very important thing, because this is what I'm fighting for. What I think is that as a singer, you need to have your mark, your signature, such a signature on a record, on a song. So when you hear a voice and somebody says, well, you don't sound like anybody else, you are you are unique. I think to be unique is such a great thing. For example, well, this is why I appreciate, well, there's not so many singers that, especially maybe women in Prague, there are, this, this is really what I'm fighting for, because let me just explain one thing. Rock is manpower.
Right.
So when I decided that rock could have been my way, let's say, it was because I was aware of the fact that I have a unique voice, and that I have a distinctive voice, and then I could have, so much power to be able to make duets with powerful men. Okay, that's why I love to have, and I'm very lucky to have always duets with people that has that have distinctive voices and powerful voices, like Clive Nolan, and like, for example, Paul Manzi, great singer, and Andy Sears, for example, because the rock voices must be, in my opinion, big, powerful, and so for women, and that's why I think I have I found my space here. I found my space because giving voice to Contessina with a powerful voice means give power to a woman, because giving her a thin voice means that the power sounds small and thin, but giving her a powerful and big voice means that that woman must have been big and powerful and really willing to do, the changes in the family. That's what I love.
And so how did Project Imaginaerium to be?
The project started one day while, like every day, Eric Bouillet and I, another sad thing is about Eric Bouillet, this great, talented, lovely man that passed away the 21st of August. So we lost our Eric, our lion, as I call him. We started to talk about an epic project that we wanted to bring to life. And yes, we were both in love, completely lost in the history. And Eric said, what about the Medici? And I said, the Medici? Wow, that's exactly what I would love to do and sing about. So he started to say, I want Imaginaerium to be based on your voice. I want you to be the protagonist of this and my guitars. And he asked me, what about starting to write something? And I said, write lyrics. Now, I'm not able to write. I do, but not that important lyrics. We need somebody really capable of doing that things. And that was obviously Clive Nolan. So I called Clive and I said, what about doing this? And this was during the lockdown period. So it was the perfect moment to get him involved in it. And
Right.
I must say, and he was happy about it because he is another history junkie,
Right.
It was immediately he started to get into the history and a chapter of the life of this Italian powerful family. And he found it obviously very, very, very big, huge and epic. And that was the beginning. So we started to kind of build it up with even bigger view. So he decided to involve more voices, keeping my leads, and around my vocals he built up like the family characters. That was the beginning.
Oh, cool. Yeah. It's, I also like history. I wouldn't say junkie, but I'm very interested in it. So when someone, whether it's a song or they do a concept or build something around, I like to, I did a little bit of research watching something on YouTube about Medici.
Medici.
And it's just kind of fascinating. And
Yeah.
and it's nice that you bring that up to the surface for the rest of the world to get, take notice
Yeah.
of it. And uh, it's just like I said, it's just amazing. There's in every country you have something, history, that some of it hidden history, uh, where some people think that maybe it wasn't as important, but I think everything that happens is important to a
Yeah.
degree. So, that's
Italy, Italy is very rich in history of art. So Italy is really, all the fights between those families. So we have the Sforza, Visconti, Borgia, Orsini, Medici. It's so rich. Borboni, that in the south of Italy. I would like to do a chapter of all because I love it. Really, it's amazing.
well, by doing that, you, like I said, you're getting people to learn about,
Yeah.
whereas like it piques their interest, and now they want to go, if they really are that type of a person, they want to go deep dive and find out
Yeah.
more. I mean, you just
Yes.
scratch, the album just scratches the surface of what everything it is. And that little video that I watched, it was only 15 minutes, also scratched the surface. Something that if it interests you, you'd go in deep dive. And that's why these kind of albums are helpful for some people. I like when someone gets into history with their music.
Yeah.
I think it almost kind of goes hand in hand, because that's what music was originally done, is they sing songs about their forefathers and they pass the songs along down the line.
Yeah.
And so I think music and history go hand in hand, because it's a way of storytelling.
Yes, it is.
And
the concept album brings you really into something.
yes.
Concept album, I loved it. I love the structure of a concept album.
And this album is very, very epic sounding. I close my eyes and I can actually imagine a stage show of it, that it's with the costumes and everything, to bring it, who knows? I'm sure that's probably what's might happen, who knows, but
well, yes, we are talking about it, and we are talking about touring. We are talking about, but it's not, as this is not a musical. You have to think about it as a concept album. So yes, you will see us, for example, with leather stuff, and you will see us also with some parts that kind of brings you back to Renaissance. So that will be really great, and it will really look amazing and powerful on stage, even more powerful than seeing costumes, pure costumes of the time. If you see this black leather or whatever it is, and some details or part of the dress, maybe in Renaissance style, that would really that would be really have a big impact in front of the people, and everybody asks us every day. We have this, are you going to come on stage with it? Yes, we are going to bring it on stage. It takes a bit time, because it's not easy to bring an Imaginaerium band on stage. It takes time. We need to rehearse, and a lot of things to do, but already talking about it and working on it.
And the other thing too is, for something of that size, with the new technologies, you can either live stream it or record it for people that aren't able to attend, because I can only imagine, cost wise, it would be very expensive to go to any places. You'd have to just do it maybe in one or two places at the most, or at the least. And so, I mean, nowadays since the pandemic started, we have a lot of more
Streaming,
more
possibilities.
live streaming their concerts, and also too, even if it wasn't the pandemic, that would be a fantastic way for someone on the other side of the world
Yes,
to be able to see, because they can't afford to be there in person, and that's another plus for that. So there's a lot, or just put it on video, for people.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of different ways to do it, where it won't cost you guys so much money to do it in many different cities, But yeah, now you were just mentioning about the other families, and you think you'd do another concept based on another family, or we go to something?
We are talking, no, there are already, let's say, something is boiling in a pan already. I can't say more, of course.
Okay.
I can't say more now because it's early to do, but it's already boiling. Things are already boiling, starting to boil, let's say.
And let's say yourself as maybe a solo artist, do you have anything coming or planning on doing something solo?
No, as a solo artist at the moment, no. I am totally into Imaginaerium, and I'm also in the Mortal Light, the new, the new musical of Clive Nolan. So Clive's new chapter of the alchemy. So it's the Mortal Light, where I play and sing and give the body and voice to Macaria, which is the Viking demigoddess. Very mean one. I'm the baddie, super baddie. So
yeah, Clive has got to be one of the most busiest person in prog music.
Yeah, thanks goodness.
I mean, he's juggling so many things at the same time, and it's just so amazing how you can actually do that. Because to keep everything, in its little box, so it doesn't.
Yes.
And the one thing with him is, of the stuff that it's completely different. Arena is different than Strangers on a Train, and it's different than Pendragon. Is kind of keeps it all different, but to be able to do that is, that's talent right there.
Well, let's say that Pendragon is more Nick Barrett's music.
Right.
So but as you say, I was on my way to say the same thing. You're very, you really notice something, because this is his strength, and I'm very, everything, so like you say, in different boxes, Arena, and it has its mark, because Arena sounds unique. When you listen to Arena, you say, oh, this is actually Arena. When you go into Shadowland, it was his band from the past where he sang. I think it was amazing. It was really amazing, Shadowland, and that sounded Shadowland. And then you had Strangers on a Train, and then you had our album Inside, from the outside in, sounded. So that's another project. Then he goes into his musicals, and then he gets into the Medici. So Imaginaerium, not Medici, into Imaginaerium music. He has all those thousands of faces that are incredible. It's really beautiful, and it's a blessing to work with him. It's amazing, really. What I consider it a blessing, to be.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. And And I like how you have other, on this project, Clive singing and Andy, so you got 3 vocalists, correct?
Sorry, I didn't.
And you have three vocalists, right?
He has himself, it's me, it's
And
Andy, and we have a classic singer, Elena Vladyuk. So we have 4 and a monk also, Mark Spencer. So we have 4, let's say 5.
oh, that's very cool. It's
Yeah.
it helps when someone, if you're going to do a concept album, that you have a different singer for different parts rather than one person singing all of it, because then it's hard to understand the story going, okay, here she's singing, now he's singing, the part, who's
But
who.
it's quite easy for the fact that actually the voices we are talking, okay, the story is based upon basically the rock voices, and 3 very distinctive, and we are all very, very different. Of course, I'm different from the 2 men, but I'm very different from Elena. We are really nothing so different. We are so different. I'm a rock voice, a big voice, and Elena has a classic voice, and Andian and Clive, they really don't sound alike at all. So all this is the good thing. The distinctive rock voices that you can recognize. Oh, you hear that it's Clive Nolan. For example, if you order this, when people order this, inside of this ebook, so you find this 2 albums. One is the bonus album and one is the main album. Inside you find some infos about the songs and some amazing artwork, but made by Steve Anderson from the band The Room that collaborated with Anne Claire. And here you see you can find all the lyrics, so you have the parts of who's singing what, and so it's like you can follow everything, like what we call in Italian il libretto at a theater. So this is a sort of amazing book, but inside you have the parts and of each and everything and the words, and it's very easy to follow. It's very beautiful to just sit there, relax, and just let me read and follow what they are doing and how the story is going.
Yeah, so anyone that has that, they call it yearbook, right?
Sorry?
Those are what they call it, yearbook, right?
Yes, this is the e-book. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and if I remember reading, it was limited to 300 copies.
Yes, this is a limited first pre-release edition. This is the pre-release edition, and we will soon announce the reprinting of the ebook, but I can't do it unfortunately because I'm not allowed to do it now. But very, very, very soon this will be revealed. So soon it will be available for everyone.
Well, that, like I mentioned to you in Messenger, that would be something for collectors.
Yes.
There's some that are collectors and some that I kind of fall under I just love the music. And if it's in a beautiful book, that's a bonus. But,
yes.
Just to be able to hear the music, and get physical media where you can go to and say, hey, I own this. This is mine, and you don't rely on Spotify or
yes, this kind of let's say those places that, yeah, I used to say that they kind of kill music. This kind of music, I mean, should be actually owned in these kind of formats,
Oh
not
yeah,
simply through Spotify or so. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot what those are for is for people to make playlists,
Yeah.
and a concept album shouldn't be in a playlist unless it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And what I like to tell people is this, and this is what I do. If someone recommends me something from an album, I like to listen to it first to see if it's for my taste. And once I do, I buy the album, and sometimes it's a little, it's convenient to go to Spotify or
Yeah.
YouTube and listen to the music there. So I've already purchased it, so I'm giving like that, get even though it's so little of money that they
Yeah.
give you, but it's extra. I'm not
Of course. Yeah.
and but there's many people that use that,
Yeah.
Spotify as their collection, and I think that's wrong, personally. I mean, everybody has their own opinion about that. I think by the music, then if you want to use that, the alternative to going to find your CD or your
Yeah.
anything, it's like,
I think I have my opinion about it because when you go on like Spotify or this kind of places, well, when you produce or when you're an artist coming from pop, pop is you use the music, use literally for kind of 15 days, 1 month, and then, okay, it's old. I can't listen to it because it sounds so old, even in 5, 6 months. So,
right.
I throw it away. Okay, so in that case, that's different. For someone in R&B, someone, those are not albums that maybe are eternal, as I say.
Right.
When you buy something, I think so at least. When you think about prog rock or this kind of music, this is actually made by genius writers. I mean, it's composers, real composers.
Right.
In this, you don't have samples from programs. You don't have any. You create. The orchestrations are created. Eric Bouillet built up every single beautiful, guitar solo to make it sound so fantastic, and all the sounds, everything around it. Even when we sing, when I am at Clive's recording, I will not take a chorus and copy and paste it in 2 or 3 places. No, I sing it again and again and again. The working process is very, very it's big. It's even that is powerful, because it's a lot of work, a lot of efforts. You can't just say, oh, I go on stage and I sing with auto-tune. No, man, this is not all about that. So it's difficult music, difficult to produce. I mean, and what's the great thing with this album is ear catchy in the melodies, even if it's so difficult, so complicated in the construction. So that's the real genius thing about, and the new thing about Imaginaerium. That's why we went out of the borders of just prog or whatever. It's inside of metal, it's inside of prog, it's inside of rock, it's and even pop lovers loves Imaginaerium. That's great. That's why we can't compare pop to this. And
I don't know if this is of a sensitive nature, then that Eric passed on. Who's going to do the guitar, or do you haven't announced that yet?
So, yeah, it's nothing that I really can announce in this moment because I obviously I can't. When our beloved Eric passed away, was such an incredible man. We spoke every day to each other, every single day. I was stalking him because he was a really lovely Eric, so talented, violin, mandolin, whatever. And of course, he said, what I want, keep this in mind, Tiger, he called me, and I called him Lion. He said, Tiger, I want you to go on stage with that. And of course, that meant that there will be, of course, another guitarist. It was the only way. Yes, we have found our guitarist, but I can't say the name yet. I can't say the name. It will be announced when time will come. And he's amazing. I think he will pretty much respect what Eric was and is, I say, because he feels so alive every time I listen to this album, and every time I touch it, he feels alive. He was incredible, really. He was incredible. Such a talent,
with music, when the musicians pass on, they're still there whenever you listen to it. So that in a sense, they are immortal.
Yes.
And
he set his immortality with this project, he set his immortality. And I said this, we had every day we had our talking about, well, of course, you talk about future, he perfectly knew that he couldn't. So one day I played this guitarist's solo for him, and I told him, do you like the sound of this person that I can't tell the name now about? And he said, oh yes, he sounds like my alter ego. And that was what brought me into the fact that I could present this person to Clive and Claire. And Claire is she's an amazing lady. She is like working very hard to keep the memory. We all work very hard to keep the memory of Eric alive, the flame more and more alive. And I promised him that he will always be on stage in one way or another. He will always be on stage with us. And there will be something, and he will always be mentioned, because he is Imaginaerium. He gave this baby to birth, let's say. It was really his dream to work with Clive, to work with me, because he said, oh, Tiger, you and I on stage, we are going to have so much fun. And then this happened. It's heartbreaking.
It is, because when you think of someone far away from you that will, that when they pass on, it affects you, but it doesn't. And then, but if someone close to you, as I'm sure he was kind of young, wasn't?
Yes, it was 55.
Yeah, so he's my age, so it kind of puts into perspective, things of life, that someone at 55 to pass, it kind of you're not as I don't know what the word is, but you get the reality of what's going on, that how does it say, there's more days behind you than in front of you. So and you live your life to its fullest.
Yes.
Even if it's a short period of time. And I believe no one is not important. We all have some importance for different reasons. Some are more on a grand scale, some are more basic every day. And
Yeah.
and he's immortal in that book, in that music, so it's like anytime someone buys that, you know, he's probably smiling down and saying, my
Yeah.
music lives on. And that's
Yes, what I say about Eric, it was that he was he was pretty much like me. We were very alike. And he was a very happy guy, very happy. And one day, as we talked a lot about, sentiments, emotions, and whatever, I was very close to him because I wanted him to really feel that I was the friend that he always would have had near him. And he said, one thing, Tiger, I am a lucky man. I am a lucky man because I have lived my life so far in a way that I wanted to live it. And I have done so many things. I have taken so many, how can we say, satisfactions, and made so many dreams come true in my life that I have lived. I have lived. You have to think about unlucky people that pass away when they are really very young, for example. And I am young, but I have really lived in a happy way, and I live as a happy man. So
right.
this love for life that he had, this is a lesson for many people. It's he was a happy man, and he was a satisfied man. I feel it. I felt it till the end that he knew, of course, what was going to happen to him. But I also knew that now, in the end, what he wanted to happen was this Imaginarium. He was always talking about that. Even Anne Claire, she always told me, he was always phoning his friends in Nice, phoning everybody, and talked always about Imaginarium, how happy and lucky he was to have this. So the good thing was that he at least could see the first reviews of the people and of some magazines and speakers telling how great they think Imaginarium as a project is. That
Right.
was a good thing, at least, but he could never hold it in his hands physically.
Right. And also too is, if people aren't aware of him, once this is released to a wider audience, they will be aware of him, and there'll be people that say good things once that, once it comes out, and a great loss for the music community.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Yeah, the one thing I was curious about is the what is it? Whenever someone does concept albums, is that something? Have you done a concept album previous to this, or is this the full-on one?
For me, it's the first one. Yes, it's the first one. Absolutely the first one. And such a big one. I couldn't imagine to do anything bigger than this. It's an immense work, really an immense work. And I'm so proud. The whole team is very proud about it. And the result also, even to touch, I mean, to listen to and to touch, it's
right.
Something that makes me so proud. Yeah.
I'm sure it's much different approaching it as compared to approaching an album with individual songs. I'm sure that's much different because you're not portraying a character. You're just singing the lyrics, whereas On a concept album, of course, you're singing the lyrics, but you're portraying the character.
Yes. In this case, yes.
And I always like concept, to be honest. I always do. I mean, especially when they're done right, where they're not too. That's the one thing with this one. It's not too pompous sounding.
Yes.
It's epic, but not pompous.
Yeah.
It's not. Whereas, bombastic. It's not like that. It's because there's at times where there's a lot of a classical influence in there, and times you have rock, and with your voice, at times I feel like it's opera because you have that kind of a voice, and so it's like it's all those things, but it's like no one is trying to show off.
No.
Because the important thing is the music, and I like when musicians know where to apply their gifts and when not to, I'm sure there's some people that would want Clive to do wild keyboard solos from start to finish. And that, it's just the same as if you expected a guitar player to play all those notes and you have no feel to it. And it's, I mean, I guess maybe in my somewhat old age, I appreciate more of just emotion that someone's playing, and the singing where it has emotion, and your voice is very emotional and it's very big and it's powerful, but you're not trying to outdo who's behind you. You are there to portray a certain thing, and that's where the music is more important, is the most important thing. As when it comes,
the whole thing, yes, the whole thing. It's very, it's like a duet between the music and the voices. So all the voices have to go blend into each other, one into each other. It's not a competition. It's it's a teamwork, and
exactly.
I appreciated it really much because it was was fantastic to even the bonus album is it's not a usual bonus album, but even the bonus album is fantastic, built in 2 days. I would like to spend some words about it because it's really a beautiful album. That's why it's worth to own this one, because it's included.
Oh yeah, and the bonus album has some interviews on it, that are very, very good, and I listened to them, and you got the bonus music on there, so it's like always nice when you have. The music may have not been able to be put onto the album proper. They're just additional songs that, extra as you get more into the band's what they were thinking about at the time, and it's really good. It's like I have to say that this is, when it comes out, it's something that people are going to be talking about.
Oh, I hope so.
I really do, because, you had the pre-release, but once it's out in the general market,
yes,
and once a lot of people got a hold of it, you got a lot of those online radios, which seem to be the best place to find new music. You have online magazines, which is another good place to get recommendations or to read about. And then the newest thing is this kind of a format, where, people are either interviewing or they're talking about music.
Yes.
So there's so many different places that I really think that it's going to be one of the bigger releases of 2023.
Oh,
I think so.
wow, 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 wow. This was a great thing that you said. I really hope so. It was a good omen.
Oh yeah, it's very.
Everybody used to say this. They say that it's, they are talking about it as one of the most beautiful releases, one of the best albums already, and it's not officially released because it's a pre-release. So I'm very hopeful in this, actually. Yes.
And it's also one of those albums that you must listen to start to finish. You don't, if you need to listen to it at midnight, do it then, so you have no interruptions, because it's just one of those kind of albums that, if you break it up, you're going to be lost. But if you listen to it all the way start to finish, they're not paying me to say that. It's just something that, one of those albums that to fully appreciate it, you need to listen to it from the beginning to end, and hopefully, if you're like me, when you hear it and you hear the history of this family, you're going to want to do a deep dive and go find out more, because this is just right on the surface. There's much more down, there's much more below the surface.
Of course, there is so much to say and so much to read about this family that you're going to be really passionate about it. So it's even the fact that we used a classic voice to be the storyteller, it's like, so basically it is the great grandchild, Lucrezia, that's the Lucrezia we're talking about, of Cosimo and Contessina. So, Lorenzo the Magnificent, that is supposed to be his daughter. So we are talking about her. Imagine her watching her family, her ancestors, from up above, and just watching the scene of Cosimo, Contessina, and Rinaldo arguing, fighting, going on with treacheries and all these things. So, and the name Imaginaerium, even, you said something very, very important before. Actually, yeah. I love your way to understand music. You are so clever. You're really incredible. You said something. No, it really, it's you don't actually need me to be interviewed. You could do it by yourself because you understood everything about it. You are fantastic. Imaginarium means exactly this. Why did we choose this name? And Claire did. Imaginarium is because we thought about the listener and we thought about his point of view. I want to imagine exactly what you said, to see this on stage, but to be in it as, a side actor nearly, because inside, so I am just inside this arena working, let's say, playing on with the other actors. So that's an amazing thing too, because imagine to be a side actor while you're actually listening to something that you an opera that you should just appreciate as it is. Well, that's great, because you feel so much part of it, you feel so much part of it. And this I hope that the listeners feel the passion that we put in it, because a passion, and I hope they imagine and they can maybe understand the unity between the musicians and the singers and the whole team. That's the beauty of this project. That's the beauty of this band. That's the beauty of it. And yeah, listen to beautiful sounds, beautiful guitar solos, that every time that you listen to Fortune Reverse and you find this incredibly beautiful solo, which is, well, I think it's one of the most beautiful solos I've ever heard in my whole life. I swear, it gives me so many emotions. He's so incredible. Or Treachery has another, wow, powerful thing. Powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And the drumming of Scott Hyam. Wow, he really runs with every singer. Every time you hear his drumming and you hear this, no, it's incredible. Everything, even the bass player, Bernard Herry, incredible, really. Beautiful team, beautiful band. I'm lucky.
Really. So basically, we will find out when it's released to the general audience on all of the platforms, like your Facebook and and email and other ways. People get the word out. And I'd say this would be one of the very important releases of 2023, where it's because it's not often, especially if the yearbook, it's not often bands go to that much detail. They just usually, if they do any kind of detail, they do it in a digibook or something like that.
Yes.
Do an yearbook. It's like that in itself. It's like, okay, they are not just doing a fly-by-night project here. It's something that they put their blood, sweat, and tears into.
Yeah. Yes, this is what it is about. It's we want to immediately set the level of this project. So show that this is not just an album that wants to interfere, in the music business, but it wants to stay there and be there for always, basically. And in 20 years, if you take out this album, it will sound modern as it sounds today, because the sounds, the Renaissance sounds, the classical sound, the rock sound, the metal, it has everything. It's everything, so that's the greatness of this album, of this rock opera that I used to say, not because I sing in it, but really because I think it's a must have, really.
Right.
And when you make a gift like this, I swear that people will remain, wow, this looks amazing. So they hold something like this. You can just put it on a table like that, and people will come, what's this? It's really, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful object also. I mean, which is it will not hurt for sure.
That's one of the things I like when it comes to music. If the composers make it a timeless sound, it doesn't matter, like you said, 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years from now, it's still going to sound fresh, because you're not going in the niches of what the styles are, the popular styles of the day, because then you kind of sound dated. You'll know what a 90s band sounds like. You'll know what an 80s band sounds like. And the 70s, you'll know what they are, but you can have a band that comes from any one of those decades, and 20, 30 years, it's fresh. So I like that when and especially with a concept album, because those are kind of difficult to get to make them timeless because you're trying to, be of the time, but it's like when you're timeless with those, I think that's an extra special, thing that a musician, a composer can do.
Yeah. It's true.
Again,
make it timeless. Make it timeless. This is the secret of something, is make it timeless. When I said that, this kind of let's call it modern music, but it's not modern. When we are talking about pop and when we are talking about R&B and this easy pop style rock, this kind of things, actually, this is not modern music. This is music that becomes old in 1 or 2 months.
exactly.
So that's it. I mean, you have spent your money for what? I mean, it's something that you can't even listen to because it is nothing. There's nothing behind it, There's nothing behind it. So you can't hear the genius of there was a DJ coming from Sweden that had a bit more, let's say, yes. He was a bit superior. He was a DJ and he was a bit superior because he used also the talent of Nile Rodgers. So we are talking about Avicii. He took his life away some years ago now. So he was very young. He was like 28 years old. And he came from Sweden, as I said. But usually in this kind of genre, it's easy listening, it's poppy, it's so of course there's nothing so eternal. If you are not talking about, okay, Michael Jackson, he was a genius of genius. So if you're talking about people like that, you always have to find, in that genre, you have to find a genius, okay? Otherwise, if you listen to the radio, and if you're listening to a song, and you hear, okay, this sounds exactly like the other one. Okay, but let me change. Oh, this one sounds exactly like the other one. And this singer, she has the same voice as this one. Oh, this has the same. No, it's nothing. And it's auto-tune. You hear it, special effects on the voices and copy paste to get this. No, that's in everything, as when you have a stylist, when you have a fashion stylist, when you have Armani works in a certain way, Versace works in a certain way, then you have the Chinese shop, of course, or whoever that is. The name tries to give you something more. They give you something more, It's the artisan. This is the artisan artisan work. So that's why it has to have a different value. So
right.
That's it,
Yeah, that, you touched on something that I've been trying to explain to people for a lot of the music that you hear now, on the radio, the pop radio.
Yeah.
It's the flavor of the month. It's like this, it's going to change. They're not going to, very few people will remember what was released a month ago. Yeah. Very few. I mean, but for the most part, people go, oh, it's like the shiny object thing. It's, which one's shiny this week,
Yeah.
And,
it's true.
And I like that musicians, especially in prog, that they don't do that. They don't try to sound of the moment. They try to make sure that it has a, again, timeless sound. That's the best way to make your music, is just think, how is this good? Do I want to make it sound, for example, like the grunge music? Well, unfortunately, that was such a short-lived time. And in my opinion, very dated. When that was done.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. It's one of those very obvious things when you hear those bands. Oh, that was 1990 something,
Yes.
Whereas when you do something like this concept album doesn't know its decade. You know, it
Oh,
doesn't know
because
it.
it's ageless. It's ageless, of course. But also another thing that I really sometimes I'm thinking about the support that I wish everybody were like you, because very often very often I would say always you hear talking about these old bands, the Genesis, and we talk about Pink Floyd, and we talk about King Crimson, and we talk about Van de Graaff Generator, and whatever that is. They you hear talking about Marillion, Porcupine Tree, the stronger names, and when the first four were these past names, so like in Italy, we are talking about Goblin, we're talking about PFN, we don't have to, I don't think that Genesis needs speakers or magazines to talk about them, because they don't produce anything new now, by the way, and because they don't need the support. The support, even when you see, oh, what's your favorite prog albums? It's always that. Nobody mentions the new releases, That's why it's very difficult to stay on top, and it's very difficult because you have to fight with those gigantic names, these enormous names that they are always like Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, and here comes Genesis, the whole, and here comes Pink Floyd, and here comes, okay, that time goes on, and we have new bands moving around, So we need to help and support those new bands, because there's a lot of gold out there. Why don't find it? Go in search of gold, the new gold, not the old ones. That they had their glory. Now it's time for all these people that spend, and I assure all the listeners that it's really hard to produce albums like this. It's really hard because it's a lot of effort to put in it. I repeat it. It's a lot of effort to put in it, from the recordings of the vocals, from the orchestrations, typically Clive Nolan, from the structures that Clive and Eric gave to something like that. But I'm talking about Imaginaerium. I could name whoever you want out there. Sometimes they say, oh, well, I've never heard this band. I don't think it's good. Well, you never heard it. It doesn't mean that this band isn't good. It's because you're always talking about the same. Stop it. It's like we talk about Harry Potter, the book of the books, and we are talking about books from the past, like Shakespeare. But I love Shakespeare. From Shakespeare on, there were other writers. So why do you go on and just talk about Shakespeare? Give new writers the chance to.
Exactly.
That's it.
I agree. It's like when, I tell people about certain music and they go, I never heard that before. And I go, well, do you want to hear it? Oh, no, I'll stick with, and it's like, okay, that's whatever. It's like, if that's what you want, you can't change people's minds, but it's like, I love to explore music. It's just something, each year I get deeper and deeper into this style of music, and learning about other styles that I didn't think about before. So it's like being with music as an artist and then as a listener, it's like a journey.
Yes, it is.
It's like a journey.
Yes.
And you learn new things, especially if you have an open mind or an open ear, that you're able to listen to it and then make your decision after you listen to it. Don't make a judgment beforehand. If you hadn't, you may have not liked the image that a band was portrayed or a music style was portrayed, but if you don't listen to it, you can't really judge it.
No, exactly. You can't know. You can't know what you're talking about, or that's why a lot of great albums remain there, and they die. They simply die because people they don't give this album a chance to.
Exactly.
That's very sad because uh, because we're always talking about this big, this big names, very big names.
Yeah.
And this is it's insane to me.
Yeah.
It's really
And
insane.
so this is the album people need to get. If you
Thank you.
if you like rock, prog, metal, classical, a little bit of opera in the voice.
There is everything.
It's everything. You have everything in it. And it's just one of those albums. I mean, I had to listen to it from start to finish in one sitting because I needed to understand the concept, and then
Yes.
and it's like the best way in my opinion, is you listen to them on headphones.
Yeah.
That way the music goes directly into you. Whereas if you have a good sound system, that's one thing, but sound systems, from the time it goes from the speaker to your ear, it's losing something. But when you have the headphones on, there's no loss of.
No, it's
the sound.
condensed. It's condensed
right.
there. Yeah.
And it's also good, if you have a good recliner, sit in your recliner, listen to it, and drift off into history.
You mean you were sitting in those recliners that you showed us with the brown covers on?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Good. You must have been really, really comfortable in those.
Oh, yeah. They're very comfortable. You have to be comfortable when you're listening to music too,
Yes, that's true, because in your journey you need really the relaxation, and that's amazing. And you can really fully get into this the magical world, I would rather say,
right.
Of the history that we are singing and playing. So yes, it's important. When I have to say that the idea of the concept album and of being inside of a journey, this is something that really intrigues me a lot. And especially when you are the one that sings this the stories that you're telling about. That's fantastic, really. The Rise of Medici is very emotional, and there is a TV series on Prime Video you can watch, and every time I watch the first episode is the first season, which is exactly the story that we are singing here. I get emotional because in my mind I hear our music in the background of the story.
Right. Oh yeah, it's nice when it's getting the recognition of the story's getting the recognition. But I'll predict it. It's gonna be very talked about. And once it gets released, it's going to be to the point where everybody's going to be talking about it. They'll purchase it, and you'll get reviews, a lot of good reviews.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one of the biggest releases of 2020.
I really can't wait to announce it more than this.
Oh yeah, so.
I'm thrilled.
It'll be announced on the Facebook, probably or Instagram.
Yes, it will be because first of all, we are going to announce the record label that is going to release the album, because this was the pre-releases with Anesthetized Records, and now we have the label, the new label, that is going to release the whole thing, the digipack and whatever, and they are going to soon tell us everybody about everything about this this release. So I really can't wait. And then obviously from Anne Claire and Bad Dog Promotions, we're going to get all the news, and from my page and Clive's, and so it's going to be very, very, very soon. Not so much now to wait. Not long
good.
now.
Yeah. So, just stay tuned to to their platforms, the many different platforms that they're on, both as Imaginaerium, and then Laura's platforms, her Facebook and Instagram. It'll be all announced through those different places, and so stay tuned to those places. If you haven't, I'll put all those links down below so people can not to do a search, be easier on them.
Yes, good.
And also, I'll put a link to the Imaginaerium's website so people can go there. And then also, they have 2 videos on YouTube. One has lyrics on it.
Yes, it's Glass Throne, the second release. The second single.
I notice a lot of bands are doing that now with putting the lyrics up on there, which is kind of cool, because then the listener can see the words and better understand the song. And the other song was Treachery. So it's like, if you go onto YouTube, you can find that under Imaginaerium. Easiest way is you put an Imaginaerium band, because you're going to get to other Imaginaerium type of things.
It's not even easy to write. Imaginaerium. It's not easy to. It's an appealing name, but not easy to write. So yes, we have a website. So that's imaginariumband.org. Yes, org.
There you go. And anything else you'd like to let the audience know? About what you can tell, what you're allowed to tell.
What I'm allowed to tell. No, I am simply, I want to assure them that we are going to meet on stage, and I want to assure that Imaginaerium is going on. Eric started it. Eric left us something to work on, very powerful to work on. And this is a lot that I am telling you now.
Right.
Yes. So we have Imaginaerium is just at the beginning, and yes, this is so we are going to announce, as we said, the guitarist. We are going to announce the touring. We're going to announce the label and the releases. A lot of things will go on in those days. So stay really tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me and get the information out to people, because, as I said, this is going to be an important release, something that people are going to be talking about for years to come.
I really hope so. It's a huge thing, and it deserves to be out there, really. So
I agree. Yeah, it's a pure labor of love of the packaging, of what I've seen online, what it looks like, what you've shown us. It's not just some fly by night type of release. It's something that a lot of care is put into it, and very worth getting when it comes out.
Yes, it's even the artwork, the appealing artwork by Steve Anderson, and this front cover by Kim Ozo. It's recognizable, so it's like we have something really recognizable out there. And I want to say thank you also to Alexandre Lamia that mixed the album, because it's not easy to mix something like that. And it has to be said that he made a remarkable job too. I want to say thank you to the whole team, to my assistant Petra Krausen also, that really spent a lot of time talking about, lots of efforts from her too. So I really thank the whole team and Claire for keeping really this project so hot always.
Right.
And I want to say thank you to the reviewers, to all of you speakers, playing and talking about us. Really, you make the project become great. And again, Ron, I have to say that you are really incredibly clever, as you think it. Your thoughts about music, how you talk about it. You are the typical person that I would say I love to talk to, because I love to I feel that your opinions and your ideas are exactly on the author's side. So you understand the efforts that we put in this music, the building of it. And that's the sensibility that you have is really incredible. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I listen to things, so and if it piques my interest, I want to go learn more about it.
Yeah.
And I call myself a music fan. I wouldn't say or a music lover. I just love music. And whenever good music hits my ears, it feels good, and I need to find out more about it.
Yeah.
And again, I have to say thank you, for taking the time out for doing this interview, and hope it'd be very nice when it comes time when you have the announcement for the album.
Yes.
And once that's out for a while, that if you and possibly Clive and Andy can all come on, we can set something up, in advance, so that everybody can put it in their calendars.
Yes.
And we could do something like that, so we can talk more in depth, and once the music is out there circulating more, be kind of cool.
That thank you, because yes, this is a great opportunity, and I really, as soon as we had the chance to connect us all, that would really be a pleasure for us to do, for sure. Yeah, this is a bit of a Christmas period, and the guys were busy. So it was impossible, but it will be possible. It will be, and we will do it very soon, I hope.
Yes.
Whenever you want, I'm available for you.
Okay. We'll just say stay tuned.
Yes, exactly. For now, I say thanks so much for this interview, because it was a pleasure, really.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, really a true pleasure.
Okay, well, until next time, we'll keep in touch, and we'll set up something once the album is released, so we could do it again, and I can, we could talk with Clive and Andy. And
yes, maybe we can have Scott in it and Claire. Yeah, so
yes,
like
have as much people as you want for it in here,
A group.
Yeah, a group. Yeah.
That's yes.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate the time, that you took out your life to help come talk to me. And I will talk to you soon then.
Thanks, you polite and really adorable speaker. Thank you so very much. And I wish everybody a super fantastic Christmas and a happy new year also, now that I can say that to you too, you and your girlfriend. I wish you really lots of good music under the Christmas tree, and I hope it Rise of Miniature will be available soon for the United States and everything, so a lot of announcements for that on that side too. So thanks again for having me, and spend a beautiful Christmas.
You too, and Happy New Year, and we'll talk again very soon.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Thanks so